what's going on, everybody? I'm Matthew Gibson.
Yo, and this is Drew Muzon, and welcome to the first official episode of The Untold Show.
Yes, now remember to go on our Instagram page and give us a follow at The Untold Show. Give us all the comments on our videos. Let us know how we're doing. We love feedback. And also, don't forget to go to our YouTube video and Don't forget to go to our YouTube page and subscribe.
Yeah.
All right, now, Drew. Today we're getting to a little taboo topic, all right? Especially amongst black men. We're gonna be talking about self-love,
right?
All right, and also why is it so hard for black men to like themselves, all right? Now, it's not in a broad generalization, but in certain pockets of our culture, in black culture, in men, there is this undertone that we have a hard time loving ourselves, and so I think the best place to start with that is to start by speaking on our own personal experiences. So for you, where do you find in your life that you had the hardest time liking yourself? Or where along the journey did you learn to love yourself? But what, in regards to that topic, what do you have to say about that?
So with me, it kind of goes back to childhood.
Yeah.
Like when we first started to develop the episode, I started wanting to go back into the deep recesses of my mind. Like, okay, when did this first come about? So growing up, when I looked at myself in the mirror, I saw myself as fat, not necessarily ugly, but fat and short, and didn't really think I received a lot of attention from women. So I never really thought, man, I was ugly, or man, I hated myself, but I never was actively practicing self-love. So as I got older, this developed into me saying this catchphrase, don't nobody want me. Whenever I come across a girl that would be really beautiful, I'd be like, she don't want me. And that'll immediately start playing in my head once I see somebody, because I'm going back to that first place and seeing myself as that fat kid or whatever, that short kid or whatever, that didn't understand himself, didn't like himself or whatever like that, and it went back to that. So as I became an adult, I just developed into that self-limiting belief of nobody want me.
Right, and so it's almost like that voice of saying don't nobody want me. I feel like in a way that's not even your own voice telling you that.
Right.
And so a lot of times it comes from external factors. Like I can definitely relate with you. When you're saying you look in the mirror and you see this fat chubby kid. For me, growing up, it's about 7th to 9th grade. I was that fat chubby kid too. Man, my sister used to tease me like crazy. She used to call me big juicy, big juicy, big juicy. No lie. And that made me so self-conscious about my weight. I was so self-conscious about my weight. And so like that inner voice in my head was similar to yours. It's like, don't nobody want me. Don't nobody want me. Just like you said, you wasn't practicing self-love. Like you wasn't even conscious of what self-love was.
Wasn't even conscious.
Nowhere near. But the thing about it is, you got that critical inner voice that's telling you that. And so now, what that is doing is making you look to external things to try to find that love and validation. So like, oh, maybe if I wear these Air Force Ones, that cute girl in the school is gonna say, oh, I like your shoes.
Or
now,
this Ralph Lauren.
Polo was popping back then too. So it makes you feel as though, oh, this is where I find my love. So I can definitely relate on looking to outside things to try to validate what's in the inside, but in reality it's opposite, right? Backwards, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You was talking about, so how did you, along your journey, at what point in time did you start making that switch of realizing that the love that I need to love myself first?
Really last couple of years, honest to God, like really the last couple of years, I really started to look at myself like, yo, like I need to love myself, like yo, like I would just affirm myself just now, like yo, I'm that dude, like I'm that guy, you know what I'm saying? I do this, I look good, I'm sexy, I'm whatever, you know what I'm saying? And really start practicing that in the last couple of years, really 2019 to keep it a buck with you, like really big in 2019 was really just like, okay, I need to actively start doing this, I need to actively see myself as attractive, I need to write this down, I need to visualize this.
I feel like we just relating now. We're like, dang, me too.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder how many, and I know some guys out there that they always knew they was the stuff from young. Yeah. But I wonder how many people have that narrative in their head, like it wasn't until recently that I'm that guy. Yeah. But like, what made you think that though? That's where
it's a switch, man. Like you just need, it's like Holy Spirit. I don't know what it is, but just it's like something just like it needs to click, because it's just like I'm tired of having the same results, because with that self-limiting belief of don't nobody want me. That self-limiting belief that nobody don't want me or whatever. I'm never gonna go after the girl that's potentially gonna be my wife because she's gonna be waiting for me to say something and I'm not gonna say nothing to her because don't nobody want me and she want me, but I don't think I'm worthy of her love. I don't think I'm worthy of this person's love, of this person of this caliber's type of love, and that's just like you have to practice that self-love in that standpoint. Just be like, yo, I'm worthy of love. I'm attractive. Somebody wants me. I bring something to the table. I often say that, like those three things. I'm like, I'm worthy. I bring something to the table. Yeah. I'm about something. I'm going somewhere in life. Not necessarily she'd be lucky to get with me, but just be like, I'm going somewhere.
Right. You got a vision for yourself and you're starting to build. Something I think I was thinking about this, just reflecting. I was like, man, I think women do a great job of like practicing self-love. Right. And it's like, and it's like somewhere along the journey in life, and I think it could go back to the whole thing, like they said women mature faster than men. Right. But like, it's somewhere along the journey, it's like they notice like, you know what? Love comes from within. I'm not saying no guys don't realize that, but I've noticed that a lot of my female friends that like early in the game, like early 20s, and things like that, they start practicing self-love and realizing that their validation doesn't come from a man, and their validation doesn't come from a job and things like that, and they're able to build themselves up with this natural confidence that's unshakable because it comes from within, so that nobody can take it from you because you can give it to me.
And it's the culture. Like I honestly think, and that's why we started this show, is because the men, we don't have a culture that's like where you can feel comfortable practicing self-love or affirming yourself and doing all these different type of things. So women have it in their culture. They're naturally seen as the nurturers, they're naturally seen as the more sensitive ones, stuff like that. So the door has been wide open for, the door's been wide open for many a years for them to let all this stuff in. Right. And the door is just now getting open for men.
It's just not getting open. And I like go back to what we were saying is how much of our worth and our identity and our love for self comes from things that can be taken from us. Yeah. Right? Like a man can get a great job. All right, and that's how he's learning to love himself. Oh man, I got this job. I'm making 6 figures. I'm driving this car. I got this car. I got this girl. I got this beautiful woman, and it's all these things that can be taken away from you, just like that. And it's like, all right, what happens when you're stripped of that? Who am I?
Like, where's the self-worth?
Right. Yeah. And so that's why I think like practicing affirmations and things like that are important. It's powerful, right? It trains our brains to really realize that those things do come from within. So I can definitely all that's my story in my own way.
Yeah. So what's your story when it comes to growing? Like, when you grew up, how did you look at yourself in the mirror?
Man. It's like I said, a lot similar to you. I had that middle school age where I was looking, where I wasn't confident. Okay. And to be honest, like it wasn't probably until about 2018. It was about 2018 I started.
It's a trend, bro.
Right, to really walk in confidence, not fully in confidence. Even now, I'm still learning to be confident
every single day.
It's a daily walk. Journey. And like for the longest, I didn't believe I was an attractive dude whatsoever, and I think it's all go back to that inner voice in my head that was still still seeing myself in the mirror as this middle school boy who gets rejected or who's getting turned down, right? And like not really realizing that you are the guy and you have it, it's already in me. So it's like what helped me along the journey to really start loving myself though was I had to start affirming myself. Right. And so 2018 is things where I really started doing like affirmations like crazy, man. If you was to ever go in my room, you see sticky notes everywhere. Sticky notes. I am a cycle breaker. Yeah. I am handsome.
And we talked about this. Right. Like I could he could like have something on the mirror and look at it every single day. Me, if I put it on there, I'll walk past it. So.
But yeah, man, it's just like the power of the brain. It's like when you especially that I am statement, so much power in that. But like when you start beginning to tell yourself over and over, your brain begins to believe it, and like your brain begins to search for those things. So like it's like, oh, I am handsome, or I am like I'm able to do challenging things. Like your brain begins to seek those things out because it's like accomplishing a goal in a way. But even like going back to my story, man, like. Sometimes it's even deeper than just getting picked on, right? For me, it's like growing up without a father, right? And like realize, so like I would go to events with my family, like family events on my dad's side. That's the family I grew up with. And so like, anytime I go there, oh, you Touche Jr., I'm Liberian. So like, you'll just hear, think it's Liberian accent, oh, you look just like your pop, this and that, and this. And so like, for me, that's kind of was triggering. Like, yo, as I got older, when I was young, I liked it because it was kind of like, ooh, it reminded me, oh, that. But as I got older, it was starting to become more triggering.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, you reminded me of something that's like, it's not even present, right? And so like, as I began to look in the mirror, I began to see myself. And I began to see more of him. Like, if I showed you a picture right now, I look just like my dad.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's like, so it's almost like me rejecting my dad by looking in the mirror, you know what I mean? So it's like not trying to really, like, I didn't want to accept who I was looking like in a way, subconsciously probably. But then it's like I'm coming to this reality where it's like, you know what? I'm just accepted. Like, I'm letting go of that pain and I'm letting go of that hurt and understanding that, like, yeah, he is not me.
Yeah, you're defined by who God says you are. You're not defined by what you but what the man who gave you life looks like. Going back to when you had said, I was just thinking about it when you were saying the whole "I'm that guy" statement. A lot of times we may think when we say that, it's like, okay, well, what makes that person that guy? And it's just like you have to develop that whatever that is for yourself, because it's relative. It's not absolute. Right. Like, that's good. It's that's good. No, like being like when you call yourself that guy, whatever that it's a relative statement. It's not an absolute statement.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's based off of I'm that guy because, you know, I'm because of this, because of that, because of this, because of that, you know, and try to find internal things and not necessarily external things. But don't look at it and be like, okay, well, am I worthy of calling myself that guy? And you're like, yeah, you're worthy of calling yourself that guy because it's relative. It's not an absolute truth somewhere that says in order to be that guy, you gotta be this, that, and the third, because then you just be subscribing to the old trends of, okay, I got the nicest kids, or I got the, you know what I'm saying, the nicest clothes, threads, whatever, and that describes you. But when you take that off and you could make it internal and make it relative, there's so many possibilities.
Right, you follow it like you're saying, but like you end up following in line of what the culture says it is to be a man, and like, you follow what the culture says to be a man. I don't know if you want to do that. But like the thing I'm learning too is that it's about self-expression. Like everything you do is an expression of yourself, right? So the way you dress, the way the things that you're into, it's all an expression of yourself, and that's like those are the intangibles that can't nobody take away from you. So if it is you're the type of person who wants to wear business casual everywhere you go, that's the way you express yourself. You're the type of person who likes to wear fedoras all day, different types of fedoras to switch it up, or if you're the type of person that might be into like Quidditch or something. I don't know. You might be into Quidditch, bro. It's random, but that might be what you be into. Right. That's exactly how you express yourself, and learning how to express yourself. That's not this programmed mindset. That's one of the. That's how you show love to yourself, because you're doing what's coming from within you, and not betraying yourself or limiting yourself to try to fit some mold of what you know. The ideal man should be.
Like forget what society says. That's what you have to do, because if you don't forget what society says, you'll be constantly letting society subscribe to you what it looks like or whatever, and it's just like you may not be able to afford this or that, but it's just like you just have to find that within and be comfortable with that. Like you have to be internal currency. Like have an internal type of currency instead of external, because external, you know, it's all this or that, and this costs this much, that costs that much. But if you have like an internal currency, like I'm valuable, I'm priceless because of this, I'm valuable because of that, it helps get you out of that cycle of like self-hate.
Right, that's real. And speaking of self-hate, things like that, I knew we was doing this, I knew we was going to be recording on Saturday. So throughout the week, I asked a few people about like, yo man, why do you think it's hard for black men to love themselves? Asking them that question. And one of my coworkers, prolific kind of guy, very deep thinking, and he brought up some very good points. One thing he was talking about you can always bring it back to the days of slavery, right? You know, trauma is passed down in our DNA, but like if you look at the days of slavery, and it was we were taught to not love ourselves. We were taught not to love ourselves, right? And just seeing and form our identity and just being basically workers. Like, we didn't have anything. So it's like, it was nothing to really love yourself on. And you imagine being there for 400 years. Like, that's not a cycle that gets broken
easily.
Right? So it's like the type of trauma that gets passed down in the DNA. And there's so many other systems of oppression and cycles that are being put up that have caused this self-hate to begin and to form, especially within black men, right? And so that you can always trace roots of that back to then and see how it still affects us in certain ways. And it's like us having these conversations today and us being more aware and educating one another to be able to break out of that, break out of those cycles and to begin to create a new mode for other generations to follow in a lot of ways. You get what I mean by that?
I get what you're saying.
So I think I thought that was like, that's pretty profound. It's a long way.
So I think to add to your point about the slavery, I think that's the biggest thing. I think that's maybe one of the biggest things because we were automatically pressed down as just as lower.
Less, you know what I'm saying? Less than human.
Right. We're seen less than just workers and just no value. Like I remember when we were talking at the Starbucks when we were talking about this, we were talking. I remember saying something about there being laws and things that saying the black man is not able, like if you can't teach a black man to read or you can't you can't help a black man to do this.
Basic human things.
Basic human things that the black people weren't able to do this or that, and because they weren't. That shock is like crabs in a barrel, just like it just shocks you and suppresses you. When it's just like, in all actuality, if you turn that on its head, it's just like the reason why they were limiting you is because you had so much potential. The reason why they were limiting you, because you have value. And I think another point to that, with that is I think that's another reason why people go off into like other consciousness or other religions and other things of that nature as black people, because we don't have that sense of black men don't have that sense of identity coming from that slave route, because you looked at it, the white person was put above us. So I think it's now just about regaining that.
I just think sometimes
go ahead.
Sometimes I just think about like materialism and it goes back to those extrinsic things of like we see it, but it, like we said, it all starts from back then. Of like, yo, you might have the newest shoes, and I might be wearing some Payless shoes.
Right.
Now I'm saying, you don't have that.
I'm worth more than you.
I'm worth more than you, and it's putting you down because of what you don't have. Right. And in reality, the only reason I may be putting you down is because I feel bad about myself, and I need to put on these shoes.
Right.
I need to put on this chain. I need to put on something else to make me feel better about who I am. So I need this to validate me.
And it's going back to the vices. I'm talking about the when you said validation, I'm thinking about the women. You know, you were putting placeholders in place, and then also too, I think it's because absent fatherlessness is another reason why you may grow up not loving yourselves, because you might have had that mother, or might have had that father. I mean, that might have had that mother that said, "Oh, you better not do this like your dad did this," or and I know for me in my mind, for a lot of the times, I just keep it a buck, like. At one point in time, I was like, man, I'll never get a girl pregnant before I get married, because I don't want my mother looking me in the face and be like, oh, you just like your daddy, or something like that. I know she never said anything like that. Real. She never said anything like that. But I would put certain things like that in my head. I'm like, I never get a girl pregnant before I get married, because I don't want to show my mom, yo, this is just like your father. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't want to repeat the cycle.
No, you know what's something, and now I started thinking about the example I gave when you said that. And it's not necessarily that the moms, when they're coming from a place where I'm trying to put you down and things like that. Like, so like, for example, like I would hear the narrative, oh, your deadbeat daddy. Your daddy ain't no good, things like that. And I know when I'm hearing these things, my mom wasn't telling me this to make me feel bad about myself or make me feel bad about. But that's just the pain that she experienced. That was her. That's
right.
She was projected from the experiences that she had, right? And so, to me, to hear that deadbeat dad, you know good dad. So kind of just the narrative that plays in your mind about who your dad is, right? And now, like I was saying, I'm looking in the mirror. Oh dang, I look just like my deadbeat dad.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, just like
right.
But then it's just like, what is she supposed to say? You know what I'm saying? What is she supposed to say? Well, how do mothers, and we can't speak for mothers, but I'm like, how does a parent navigate that when, you know what I'm saying, when you're trying to raise a son and give him an identity? You know, is it put him around mentors? Mm-hmm. Like I remember hearing homie Dave said that his mother put him around mentors growing up. You know what I'm saying? And having just other black men, you know, not just being by yourself all the time, just having that image of a role model.
Yeah, I think that's important too. When teaching a young boy to love himself, though, it's like, all right, if you don't have that father in the house to be around. So I was blessed to have mentors in my life. Right. Like, imperfect as they may have been, like, it just shows the grace that was over my life. But like, they still love me, and like, it wasn't honestly until like this year that I realized how unconditional that love was, and that they saw me as like a son that I can go to them, right? And that's shown me what love is, and that's shown me like when you're a recipient of love, of unconditional love, it teaches you how to really love yourself.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think another one was so we gave examples of why black people are not liking themselves, but maybe another question is, so what are some practical ways of how you practice self-love for yourself?
Okay, that's good. All right, so ways that I practice self-love for myself personally. That's good. So one way is, I'm learning this now, man, is just to take time for myself, to just be. Like, I get into the mode sometimes where I'm just always on the go. I wake up, go to work, do this, do that, and then the only time I ever really get to spend with myself is when I'm laying in bed about to go back to sleep. Yeah. So some days I don't really get to spend some time with myself, but making time to do the things that I enjoy, right? So waking up, meditating, that helps with the mind, it helps with the mental. But also like going on a hike. I like to hike. I like to be in nature. So spending time in nature is great for me. All right?
Keep me inside. I go to Crowder about once, but keep me inside.
Man, so going on a hike, man, going to a park and just chilling.
Right.
Going to a coffee shop, doing some writing. So writing is one way that I care for myself, is writing. And processing my thoughts, understanding what it is that I'm thinking and that I'm feeling. Another way is exercising. That's one way I show love for myself. It's just not only that it helps me to look good, but it also helps me to feel good. Like when I go if I ever go like a week without working, I start feeling depressed, man. I start feeling dead serious.
That's crazy.
And because I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because my body's not in motion. And it's not to say that I always got to be working out. Yeah. But to get that sweating out certain toxins and things like that. Those are ways I choose to love myself. Taking yourself out on a date.
And that's new. Like this is new. Like leading into like one of my things. Yeah. Like this, like not even. I wouldn't say take myself out on a date because I'm like, hey, I want some dates. But I want some dates. But not
20, bro. Hey, bro, shoot your shot out 2020.
Like going to places by myself because I as of this past couple of years, I'm like, man, I'm realizing like, I don't really have a lot of people that I really can call friend. And then I don't really have a lot of friends that are, one, emotionally available, but then two, I don't really have a lot of friends that are able to hang out or we have the same things in common. A lot of friends that I have are married and have kids. Yeah. So they're automatically, some people go ghost when they get married and have kids. That's all, I ain't there yet, so I don't know. But some people go ghost when they get married and have experience. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They go ghost. So I'm learning to myself like, yo, I gotta go out. And I went to the Desi Banks show a couple weeks ago. I went to a concert. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to go to another concert. I'm about to go to Wild Night when it comes to Charlotte in a couple months. Like but going to that Desi Banks and kind of was like the Kickstarter for me. Yeah. Because I wasn't necessarily nervous, but I was like, man, I don't want to go by myself. Right. But I'm like, I have nobody else to go with. So you might as well just go by yourself and see how it is. And it wasn't bad at all because there was a bunch of people in there that were in there by themselves. Right. And it made me feel more comfortable. Like, it's not that bad to go out by yourself. Now, if you just like an anti-social joker and you in there and you just like sitting there, you just whatever, it's not gonna be fun. But if you are going there like, okay, cool, I'm gonna talk to people, I'm gonna talk to people next to me, I'm gonna laugh, I'm gonna joke with people, and you might end up even seeing people there. I saw some people there that I knew. Yeah. So Yeah, so I think that's one of the ones for me. I think another one for me, like I was saying, is just creating boundaries. Like I was telling you last week when we were meeting, like sometimes like when people call me when I just get off of work, I don't answer. I'm starting to not answer now. Before I would answer and not really want to be on the phone or whatever the whole ride home. That's usually my time to just decompress and just chill out, vibe to some music, talk to God a little bit, whatever. And I more so now I'm just like, okay, if period, not even just off of work, but if I don't feel like talking right now, I'm not going to talk. And it's just like nobody's going to hate you if you don't answer the phone. I think I've put on myself some type of like a self-limiting type of thing where, because I care about communication so much between person to person, I don't want to be that one that I'm always talking about, hey, communicate with me, reciprocate, also stuff like that, and then I don't return a phone call, or I text you back 6 hours later, because I know when people do that to me, it pisses me off sometimes, or whatever. So just creating boundaries for myself, and just, if I don't feel like answering the phone, don't answer.
Yeah, no, that's real. Boundaries are so important, and so like I can definitely agree. I think the biggest thing is, for the biggest boundary I'm learning, that in order to self-care is learning to say no.
Yeah. Right.
It's learning to say no.
Right.
Cause like for me, I can be a people pleaser at times, and so like that can lead me to overextending myself and exerting more energy than I'm actually able to give, out of the fact that like, yo, I just want you to know I'm there for you. Mentally,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm there for you, but in reality,
because you want them to be there for you,
right?
Or whatever, so it kind of conflicts it, yeah.
But it's like it's almost a self-betrayal, because are you there for you? You know you need to be in the bed chilling. You know you need to be at the crib watching Netflix by yourself, just chilling. Just chilling. You know you need a time to just rest. But you overextend yourself because you don't know how to say no. I was at the Oprah event today. Yeah. And it was real. She was talking about how, like, she said her and Stedman was having a conversation one time. She still with Stedman? She's still with Stedman. Really? Yeah, they're still together. But this is regarding boundaries or so, in a way. So she was like, she found herself people pleasing. And she was like, because she was just wanting to be a nice person. And then Stedman was like, you think you're nice? And she was like, yeah, I think I'm nice. But when she started thinking about it and reflecting on it, she was like, I guess I'm not nice. But I am kind. I am thoughtful. I am considerate. I'm not nice, but I am. And so it's like sometimes we can find ourselves trying to be nice just to people please. It's like you ain't got to people please, because when you're trying to people please, you end up disregarding the boundaries that you set for yourself. Yeah, so,
and then just kind of with that too, like when you try, that voice tells you in your head like, oh well, you need to, you should do this or whatever, and if you don't, they'll look at you bad. You have to learn not to care about what other people think about you. That's why it goes back to the identity and knowing how you feel about yourself and knowing what you value about yourself. Yeah. Because it'll come at those times when you have to do something for you. Yeah. Somebody may not always understand, and you got to be cool with it and be able to be composed. Like, I said no, and I'm not budging. And if they don't like it, they don't like it. But I'm doing this for me. And if they choose to not want to talk to me anymore, if they choose to fall back, whatever, then they really don't understand the self-love and the boundaries that I'm trying to give myself.
And that's okay. And that's the thing. It's like, all right, they don't understand. Once you get to that place of like, they don't understand, that's cool. And that's where you have to have that peace, and it's like, all right, man, that's a them issue. It's not a me issue. Right. And it's that they just don't understand. They just don't understand, and that's cool. But I know where I'm trying to grow and how I'm trying to heal is like, these boundaries, this is how it is. Yeah. You either feel it or you don't. And when you get your boundaries, I respect that too. Yeah. But yeah, man, I think there's so many different ways to like take care of yourself. And I think like as men, we have to begin to take care of ourselves, because sometimes we can just get to going and going and going, and we don't. Yeah. And if we don't take care of ourselves, then like we can't expect ourselves to be around that long.
Yeah. And Trip Lee said something one time. He said, I can't advance if my brain a mess.
That's real.
And I'm like, ever since then, I'm just like, I started to put myself first. Like, I would put the things that I had to do for the organization that I'm part of and things, other responsibilities above my own personal me time. And then it would just stress me out. Like, I forget, what was I telling you on the weekend? I said, I hit you, bro. Like, I'm stressed as crap, or whatever, because I started my day doing something for somebody else, versus starting my day with me And then like I said it was me, then I said God, and then I said God / prayer time or whatever, then everything else. And that's how it should be. You know what I'm saying? You should always start your day, you know what I'm saying? Definitely thank God or whatever, but like start your day like clearing my mind, like I was telling you, I'm like, I need 30 minutes or whatever, silence or whatever in the morning, just of quietness. And if I don't get that, I immediately just start working for somebody else. I go throughout my day never having that quiet time in the morning, that still time in the morning of not even just trying to talk to God, but just trying to get my thoughts together, thinking about what I need to do, how I want to do it, processing things. If I don't do that, I'm gonna be stressed as crap the whole time.
You gotta be able to set your intentions as you start the day and things like that, man. But there's so many different ways of self-care for yourself, man, especially your bodies, whether it be stretching, yoga, whether it be pedicures, deals like that. Some people, you know, some people feel weird about that, but honestly, man, my dogs be barking. Like, don't cap, man. My dogs be barking, and so it's like, I got to.
Yeah, I only got a pedicure like one time in my life. That was like a couple years ago. They fired.
It feel real good, man, and it's relaxing.
Yeah.
And like, they put the little bags over your feet, stuff like that. It's relaxing.
It's a consistency factor with that, because I'm like, man, that was like 5 years ago. Last time I went,
that's true. The consistency of doing it, because I try to say I'm gonna do it once a month, but once a month turned to once every 3 months. But it's like I want to be better in it.
But let's talk about that for a second. The stigma, the stigma, like about men getting pedicures and men doing things that are formally feminine or whatever. To you know what I'm saying, doing something and reclaiming it. Or not really reclaiming it, but claiming it. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's all rooted in like this false idea that men have to be super macho. We don't take care of ourselves. We walk around here. No, man. At the end of the day, and most women are probably will feel they don't want to let they don't want no man. Yeah, they don't want no dude. They don't want to sign no dude. Like they toes is like curling up and like it's like the pot kettle called the kettle because I got to get my feet done. My it's real rough right now. It's rough.
Right.
But still, like, I got 3 older sisters. Yeah. So they always used to come at me, come at my neck, like, ugh, you need to do something with your feet. Being a former athlete too, like your feet be barking.
Yeah, I'm none about
so it's nothing wrong with it. It's like a lot of people would think it's soft or something like that, but you just taking care of yourself. Like literally, you gotta take care of your feet. Like they're the things that they help you walk. They keep you going. And like when you take care of your body is able to go longer. You know, so that's one thing. You gotta take care of your feet, especially if you're a man who works on your feet all day and like you may be wearing some boots and stuff. Like you know, you're getting calluses and corn. Get that stuff taken care of, man. Take care of your whole body, not just your feet or your hands, but it's also what you ingest in and things like that, how we eating. That's another way of self-care. That's a self-love, man.
That's good.
Man, like, I'm getting all these thoughts now, but like, I got a friend who told me he's trying to lose weight. This is a big thing. He's trying to lose weight, and but he told me that the reason why it's hard for him to lose weight is because he doesn't love himself enough to do it. He feels as though he can't take that initiative because I guess in regards to that area of his life, he doesn't love himself enough. And it was like, oh dang. And so it makes you really think about when people are trying to lose weight, it is like a form of self-love thing to just be healthy, right? To take care of this temple, to take care of this. It's about being healthy.
Yeah. It's not just redefining the stereotype and just being comfortable. Like you first have to be comfortable in your own skin. If you already know who you are and you know everything that defines you, then you can just build on top of that. That has to be the foundation. Right. So if my foundation is I'm that guy, I'm that dude, words I can't say on camera. I'm that guy, I'm that dude, you know what I'm saying? And I'm building, that's the foundation. Whatever comes on top of that is resting on, I'm gonna do, okay, I'm getting pedicures. I'm resolved in my masculinity. Right. And I'm able to go get a pedicure. I'm resolved in my masculinity. I'm able to take care of my body. I don't look at it like it's taboo to go get a massage or to go do certain things like that because I'm resolved in my masculinity. I'm comfortable in who I am as a man.
Yeah, you love yourself.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's like when you start doing stuff like, man, I want to work out. Not just because I want a six-pack and I want to look impressive, but because I love myself and I love who I am.
And that might take you further because I think a lot of times why people may not follow through a lot of times is because you're trying to look like that dude or that athlete or whatever instead of I love myself. Yeah. I like to look good. I like to feel good, and maybe I think I need to practice that a little bit more too. I mean, I do that. I mean, I think my first goal is okay. I want to lose weight. Mm-hmm. So that's what I think about when I work out. I work out because I want to lose weight. But if I start to renew my mind to, I want to do this because I like to look good. I like to feel good because I love myself. Yeah. The results might be through the roof.
Yeah, bro. It's just like it's just changing the habits. It's all in the brain. You know what I'm saying? Like you start to write that stuff down. You start to write it down with also you saying it and believing it. Your brain starts to look for it. So you say, man, I want to lose 10 pounds by March, right? Your brain is gonna start looking to things and seeing things that helps you, that puts you along that path, right? So you might be more inspired to get the grilled chicken sandwich, except versus the chicken sandwich, the fried chicken sandwich. Right. You know what I'm saying? The little things. And so, all right, I'm gonna take the stairs versus the elevator. I'm gonna run versus go home and sleep after work. That type of thing. It's like your brain starts to search for all that, man. It's cool.
That's good.
But yeah, man. There's so many different ways that we should love and take care of ourselves, and as men, this conversation is so dense, man, and like we could really go on about this, and we can have much more in-depth conversations, because I know this is just two sides of the coin right here.
So like if you guys out there that are watching, you guys you have any self-care tips or anything that you do, put them in the comment section below on our YouTube page and let us know. We'll get back to you about, we'll interact with you. Not get back to you about like what kind of stuff, but we'll interact with you about that. Just want to see what you guys are doing.
Right, and if you also want to share your journey of how you have overcome, if it might not have been a self-hate, maybe you you wasn't content with who you are as a man. If you want to share that with us as well, share that journey, whether it be through a video, whether it be through writing in, and letting us know that story is important, and the world needs to hear that. Just like the world is listening to what we're saying, the world needs to hear your story, because there's somebody somewhere that can relate to your perspective.
And that's why we call it Untold, because the black man's story has not been told on a platform like this. So we want to give you guys the opportunity to do so.
For sure.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? This is the first ever open letter segment of our show where we allow viewers to send in anonymous letters pertaining to the topic of the show. This is your chance and your opportunity to share your untold story. As an adolescent youth, an unspoken pain I dealt with internally was the feeling of guilt due to the divorce of my parents when I was 6. Being at the center of the arguments, fights, and disagreement led me to believe that I was the reason for the family situation I found myself in. The torturing thoughts of what if I had been a more perfect child led to the self-fulfilling prophecy that made me believe I wasn't good enough. And so for years, I never loved me. Who was I? Who I was, and the substance I consisted of. While many will look at my story and say I learned to love myself through sports, the truth of the matter is I learned in time that sports too can cause resentment in one's own heart and quickly leave an individual in an endless realm of cycles. My outlet became writing. I write about what I was thinking, how I was feeling, and what I wanted. This brought an inner peace. I feel as though I fell in love with the pen and paper so strongly because I knew it would never leave me, as did the previous cycles. I was mentally free and at peace with each stroke of the pen on the paper. Now I choose to do things that provide me with the same euphoria. Write, read, massages, pedicures, walks in the park, exercise, face masks, etc. Life hasn't always been easy, but I realized I needed to sit with my pain long enough to recognize what areas in my heart needed the most healing. I am free. Best regards.
Okay. So you guys just watched the first open letter. Now we're about to go through and discuss some points of it. So was there anything in there that kind of stuck out to you in that first anonymous letter?
Yeah, for sure. Like one thing I can definitely relate to, just looking back through it again, one thing I can definitely relate to is when he was talking about, while many would look at my story and say I learned to love myself through sports, the truth of the matter is that I learned in that time sports too can cause resentment in one's own heart and quickly leave an individual in an endless realm of cycles. That's a story. That's a story I'm sure many athletes can relate to. High performing athletes, especially, like, this goes back to the whole identity thing and finding your identity and what you do and how that's misidentity. You shouldn't put your identity in what you do, but like, yeah, for me, I definitely can relate to, because sports was, so like I said, my dad wasn't around, wasn't in the house to give me that affirmation. So my affirmation came from coaches, my affirmation came from fans. All those things was like, oh yeah, you did, oh yeah, good job, man. Good job, this and this. I'm a 4-year starter, played in the NFL. All these things are affirming me in like what I think is my identity and like where I perceive to get my love from, right?
Yeah.
So football was, for me, in a lot of ways, in places where I express my emotions, my sadness and my anger. I let it out there.
Yeah.
But once it's gone, what happens?
Yeah.
Like, it's not there no more. Now I'm like, who am I? Now I'm also looking at like the thing I used to put my emotions into and let my emotions out and funnel it through is not there no more. So now I have to sit there and like, oh, now you're in this place of like, what now?
What am I?
Right, what am I? Like you said, that endless cycle of searching. Now I'm searching for something new to fulfill this void, right?
Yeah.
Something that's never gonna fill, but in reality, it was already given to me. It was already been placed in me the day I was created.
Yeah.
You know, the Creator, He gave that to me.
Yeah.
It's already in me, but it's like, I definitely can relate to that point of him, what he was saying about that endless cycle of people would think on the outside looking in, oh yeah, he found his love. No, but that love break your heart.
Yeah.
That love will break your heart when it's taken from you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you can't find your love, you can't find your validation from that. But that's one point I really relate to in that.
Word.
Yeah, really.
I'm trying to think. What did he talk about his self-care habits in there?
Yeah. So like some of his self-care, it was writing. I definitely relate to that.
Okay.
Writing and reading. Writing and reading I can relate to. It's just writing is one of the ways that I express myself. That's how I get my emotions out. It's like I journal it, and if I share it with the world, I share it with the world. But that's just me processing raw emotions. Writing, reading, massages, pedicures, walks in the park, exercise, face mask.
Yeah.
That's a game changer, bro. I've never done a face mask, but like I'm sure it has benefits.
And going back now we actually have to go because it's looked at as taboo for men to do that. Because when I first heard that, I'm like, face mask. That's different.
That's something like I know, like I've even growing up with women, I've never done in my life. And, I'd be interested in doing that, but that's like some stuff that is like, as a man, you have to put aside your these notions that is not of a man thing to do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
So on the question of why did they struggle to love themselves, Anonymous said, in short, I wrapped my identity and self-worth into someone else. They had all control over me and over my emotions, and I had very little that I did outside of them. Over time, I lost myself. I didn't know who I was, what I liked, and what I wanted in life outside of that person. On the question of how do they come to love themselves, Anonymous said, heartbreak and patience. Having that relationship end, I was forced to look within. I spent a lot of nights alone and even went through a period of extreme sadness, but it led me to rebuild my image and ultimately get to know who I was again. I let go of everything I had believed and searched for the things that made me happy. A book I read in early 2019 by the name of Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself changed my life and led me to practicing meditation. From then on, I made a conscious effort to never let anyone or anything control my happiness. It's not easy for sure. I struggle, but struggle is a part of the journey. If I'm going to be patient with anyone, it's myself. On the topic of practical ways they choose to practice self-love in their life, Anonymous said, yoga and meditation, goal setting, and making a conscious effort to learn something new every day. I can't stress that enough. Happiness is when you have something to look forward to. So I try to have something to look forward to every day. Untold.
6 chill, for.
So you guys just watched the second anonymous letter just now. Some of the points, some things that stuck out to me. Let me pull it up. So he was saying.
I didn't catch that.
Siri trying to get in on the conversation. So when he, one of the things that was kind of crazy said, so when he was talking about how to become to love himself, it's talked about heartbreak and patience and pain, using pain, in order to learn how to love yourself. Yeah. So I thought that's like one big thing that kind of stuck out, because we don't always, I think we were talking about painful things in order to cause us to love ourselves, but a lot of times it may not come from painful things. It may just that switch, like I was saying, there's a switch that came on the last couple of years. We might not have been going through any painful situations relative to self-love in the last couple of years, because it was so buried down deep.
It's just getting
uncovered. So it was from that, but he was saying like heartbreak. Like a heartbreak caused him to change the gear. So definitely thinking, going back to the validation with women, like I know that was like a really big thing for me. I can relate to what he's saying, because that was a really big thing for me, is like validation when it came to girls that I put my all. Several women in college I put my all into, cried over them, going crazy over them or whatever, and they never wanted me, they never saw me, and I was told, oh, you're too good for me. Like them telling me, like them
too good for you.
Yeah, no, them telling me that I'm too good for them. Like I'm too good for them, or you're not the one for me, all stuff like that, and just going through those different things. But I'm placing my all in them. It's just basically like having like godlike expectations on females, on women, and you know what I'm saying, that it should just be on God. So
that's real. Like heartbreak. I could get that. I could get it. Like. It's that feeling of like, it's almost like trauma in certain ways. You're like, I will never feel this feeling again. I will never let anything or anyone make me feel this way again, man. And like, I can relate to that.
Abandonment issues and stuff like that. I've heard people like that. Well, they experienced that one time, and when they were younger, and then because of that, they vowed to hurt you before that you hurt them, or get out of whatever situation before you hurt them.
But like for him though, it seems as though it triggered him to make him realize that what he was searching for can never come from anybody but from what was already given to him by God. It's already within him. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay. So sometimes those experiences, like, and for me, I was writing something about this, reflecting that, like, for me, that breakup, that heartbreak was like football for me.
Yeah.
That was like my long-term girlfriend. We was in a relationship for like 10 years. For real. That was my girl. That was my day one.
Yeah.
She was faithful.
Yeah.
Until the career was over, and it was like, oh. And so I'm still grieving through that. And just like realizing, okay, I had to have that happen to understand that the things that the validation, the love that I was looking for from that was already within.
So because otherwise, 20 years down the road, with all the accolades and all the stuff like that, and football's done, then what? You know what I'm saying? Then like, what's the cycle or the type of stuff that you have to work with?
And it'd be probably a larger fall, because you build it on this shallow foundation, this foundation that's not really sturdy at all. Boom, boom, I'm building it up on this. All right, it gets kicked out from under you.
Then what?
What you gonna do? You bringing a lot more people down with you. 20 years from now, I got family and kids.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And projecting that on them to love, that could, that's good. Projecting that on them with your kids, like, oh, football is it, basketball is it, and they grow up with the same type of cycles of putting their validation in this because their dad was validated by it, so the dad's not going to validate them. Me being the father, you being the father, you're not going to validate them by internal or how much love they bring to you internally. You're going to validate them by how many points they score.
Exactly, make them feel like you got to earn it.
Yeah,
it's already, man, I'm trying to tell you, the good Lord's already given it to you. It's inside of you. You just got to look within in a lot of ways, man. But I think that's some profound thoughts from both of these anonymous letters and the things that they're saying. I'm sure there's many men out there that can relate to that, to that perspective. Many people in general that can relate to something in what was said between these two guys, or whether it be between us. You know what I mean?
So you got any final thoughts based off of self-care and self-love? Any final thoughts?
Yeah, and so I do. I was just thinking about this, and I was thinking about my life growing up. My life growing up, I was raised around my mom, and she loved me. She had a lot of love, and I observed a lot. Yeah. And one thing I observed about my mom is that she was the type of person that would She would extend her love out for people. Like how she found love for herself.
Yeah.
Was basically by fulfilling the needs of others. And so sometimes that love that she gave out, she didn't necessarily give to herself.
Yeah.
I observed that. And I believe that's something that I began to adapt for myself. So for me, speaking of myself personally, is that I would find myself giving more of myself and giving more of myself and not really asking much of other people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because I didn't really love myself.
Yeah.
And it's like I'll find myself drained, and I can only give what I feel up in, you know? So I can only give to others what I give to myself.
Yeah.
And so if I'm not learning to love myself,
If I'm not full.
right. If I'm not full, if I'm not loving myself how I should, how can I expect to love, really truly love other people and even really receive love, right? If all I am is just giving, how can I ever really fully receive it?
Or know how you like to receive. Yeah.
Right. And I say all that to just say that it's something that was learned.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like one of those things that as I'm older, we gotta break that cycle of not loving ourselves or seeking to love, find our love in how other people love us. Or knowing that if we love ourselves, then we have the fulfillment that we need.
Yeah.
And that enables us to actually really love people the way that they deserve
Yeah.
and need to be loved.
And I think for me, one of the last things I just want to like touch on is just the practicing of habits of self-care.
Yeah.
Like this episode really kind of made me think about what are some things I do, because a lot of times we get lost in the hustle and bustle of life, and I don't really sit down and think about how do I care for myself as a man. How do I care for myself, because it's a taboo topic around men. Women have gathered that topic for themselves. So definitely just you guys out there, find those things that you love, find those things that make you happy, and do them more often, and put them into your routines, and put them into your habits, and put them into practice, and practice that self-love, practice that self-care.
Right. Well, this is the first ever episode of The Untold Show. I'm Matthew Gibson.
Drew Muzon. Until next time, you guys, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, get back to us how you like this episode. Until next time, peace.
Peace.
Yeah.